and welcome to episode 2 of the Built Environment Marketing Show podcast snacks. These are very special, short, 10-minute practical episodes of snackable content that you can implement this week to make a difference to your marketing. The Built Environment Marketing Show, as always, is a show for architects and engineers talking about best practice marketing that you can do yourself. I share interviews as well as solo episodes where I talk about marketing, basically. The show is hosted by me, Ayo Abbas. I am a marketing consultant, content creator, speaker, and trainer. So you can find out more about me and my work at abbasmarketing.com. Anyway, on to today's episode, which is about SEO basics and how to keep on top of your content. So let's get started. Firstly, SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. And I think the best way that I describe it is SEO is all about getting yourself ranked on Google. So how you can get your website ranked on Google. It's important that you understand a lot of this is going to be not just down to your actual content, but also doing a kind of back end basics and making sure that you keep up to date with all of that kind of stuff and making sure your site is fast and it operates well. So these tips are about those basics that you can do to help your content rise to the top. So let's dive into the main basics. So first up, the first thing you really need to do is make sure that you've got the right tools in place so that you understand how your website is performing in terms of SEO. The main tool that you can use is Google Search Console. It's free and you can easily set it up just by going to Google and searching for Search Console. Once you've got that installed, it will tell you all about how your site is performing in terms of Google, the keywords you're ranking for, how each page is performing. And it can give you a whole wealth of information and data. So Google Search Console is the basic thing you need for SEO. It's free. It's great. Make sure you've got that set up. And there are various YouTube kind of tutorials on how to set it up, but also how to use it and understand it. It's not the most visual thing, but once you kind of understand the basics, it's great for what it does. So that's the point that you need to do, is really set that up. Then once you've got that, there are a couple of additional tools that can kind of do like a site audit on a monthly basis for you. The main ones that I can think of are Ahrefs, which is Ahrefs, or SEMrush is the other one. So you can just basically set up a profile for your website. It will do like a dashboard audit once a month and tell you what's working well, what you can improve in your site. So those are really, really useful tools to have in place if you want to start getting better at SEO. Go off and do that. In terms of my next tip is all about keywords. So keywords are the main words that you want to use in that particular piece of content so that it gets found by Google. That's the easiest way to talk about it. What keywords or phrases are you looking to use in that piece of content so that it's found by Google? That is how you rank. So what you want to then do is, once you've got those keywords in mind and you've created your content, you want to make sure that you've sprinkled it across your content in terms of physically, so in the actual content itself. But then you also want to make sure it's in your page title, it's in your meta description, it's in your subheading. So all that back end stuff uses those keywords and really, really, really says to Google, "Hi, we're here. Here's our keywords. Yes, you should rank us." That's basically what you want to do. There's an amazing tool that I've recently found called Keywords Everywhere. It's a cheap AI-based tool that helps you to see what other sites are ranking for. You add it to your browser, and then when you go on a website, it shows you the search volumes and the keyword that particular page is actually ranking for. It's a great way to kind of understand what your competitors are doing, but also how your own site is performing. So definitely check that one out. And it wasn't a lot to get an annual subscription. It was under £40. And it also gives you a good idea of what other kind of terms you could be looking at or where the opportunities lie. So really, really good package to use there. I think the main thing for me in terms of SEO is just making time to do it. It's great if you can allocate a piece of time, a couple of hours each month where you just go into your website, and you update it. You do look at page areas. You fill in the missing information. You make sure everything's got a meta description. Really just spend some time each month on it and it will pay dividends. I always say to people that SEO is not like a quick win, but it's a slow burner. And the more you kind of chip away at it, the more in 6 months' time, in a year's time, you'll start to really see results. So really, it's worth chipping away and allocating some time each month to kind of tighten up your website. My next tip is very much about spending time to think about the perfect title. You want to rank, so it's understanding who this piece of content is for, and also, the title is so important. So for me, I use a tool called Headliner, which is by CoSchedule, and you trial out different titles, and you can say if it's a blog or what type of content it is, and it will give you a ranking, and it will give you ideas and suggestions on how you can improve it. I think you can still get a free version each month where you can use 10 titles. It's definitely worth trying. If not, you can subscribe for a low monthly cost. Again, that's another tool that I do use regularly because it really helps me to find, I guess, the space or the areas that I need to do so that my content really sings. My next tip is about making sure that you use subtitles. So subtitles are a great way of signposting the reader to what's coming next. Using those subtitles as a way to also help with kind of ranking in terms of SEO. So you want to look at subtitles like we have like H1, which is our heading 1, which is the main title for the overall page. You have H2, which is heading 2, which I would say is probably most of your subtitles. H3 if you kind of need a third level of hierarchy. But it's very much about, again, trying to get those keywords that you're targeting for that piece of content into your H1, H2, H3 headings, subtitles, just so that you tell Google and the reader, this is what you're going to get. The next tip is all about meta descriptions. So meta descriptions are basically a way to describe, or I guess sell the story or sell that piece of content. So when you go into Google and you search a word and it gives you that short narrative, that is the meta description. So it's going to be enticing. It's got to tell me what's coming up. It's got to intrigue me. It's got to lead me somewhere. So that's an art to writing those. You can actually use ChatGPT and sort of say, I'm writing this piece of content. Could you write me a short meta description and see what it comes up with and then edit from there? Or you could just do it yourself. It's not that hard. But, could be asking a question, signposting where you're going, but also it needs to have your keywords in it as well. So meta descriptions are very important. And if you leave them blank, you're missing another opportunity in terms of SEO to rank. So make sure you do fill those in. The next tip is about taking a few minutes before you do hit post and before you hit publish, and just making sure that you've set up all the back-end logistics properly for your piece of content. So making sure that alt tags are there, the images have descriptions, that the titles are working hard and have your keyword, and that there's alt text and that the SEO is optimized for the headlines. So just literally looking at your content and going, have I used every piece of capital that's there for me to improve the SEO of this piece so that it ranks better? And finally, I think my one tip is actually, if you want to get stuff to rank faster, you can also tell Google via Google Search Console. You can go back in there and just, if that page isn't ranking yet, because it's not showing up on Google yet, what you can do is actually go into Google and just put the page address into Google Search Console and refresh, and actually that can update it as well. So that's another thing you can do. I'll link to a video that talks about how to do that as well, because that explanation probably needs a bit more detail. But anyway, I hope you found this episode really useful. Take care. Bye.